Hello and welcome to Paper Plays Julie K.
Welcome everyone, and thank you so much for stopping by to check out my latest video. And today I'm continuing to work on the hashtag Little Bits of Lace 2024, started by Cori Dahmen here on YouTube, and she has challenged us to use up little bits of lace in our journals. And I do have Cori's video listed below in the description box, and if you do open up that description box, I do have links for previous episodes in this series. I have been doing lots of little mini tutorials on different ideas on using up your little bits of lace. So I do have all those listed, but I also have the links. So if you're interested in following along on any of those, I also have a playlist. And for today's episode, one of the things that I love to add into my journal sometimes are paper ruffles, but I thought, well, we can just add a twist on that and add them either with adding in some lace so that we use up our little bits of lace. And again, for me, I'm defining little bits of lace as anything 12 inches or less, just because I do a lot of fabric and lace and a lot of lace projects, and I always have leftover pieces and bits. So as long as this is 12 inches or less, I've been using it on these videos. And today, this one that we are making, it probably is better to have a slightly longer piece of lace. So that's why I'm just letting you guys know that I'm defining it as 12 inches or less. And one of the things I love adding into my journals is paper ruffles. And so here's a couple that I have in my stash from before. And I just like to take paper strips and I fold them and I run them through my sewing machine and I make these little ruffles. And so what I thought is we could add, you can also do them with fabric. I've seen a lot of people do them with fabric, but I thought, well, wouldn't it be fun to add in some lace? And so I did create one with fabric and lace. You can kind of see here's the fabric and here is my lace. I also like mine to be a little more, not 100% perfect. I know some people make them and they're the same size. All the ruffles are the same size going down. Mine are just kind of haphazard, and I like that. But, you know, these are really cute just to add on to a side of a page on your journal. And so I did have this one where I used fabric and lace. And then I wanted to show you, I also just completed one on my sewing machine that I did with paper and lace. And again, you could add this onto a side in a page of your journal. And then I just wanted to show you, for those of you who maybe don't have sewing machines, that you can easily do these with glue also. And I'm just going to show you, I have a paper strip here. And all you do, if you want to make it neat, then of course you're going to do your folds even. But I, of course, don't do that. So I just fold them kind of like this. And I just make different folds. And that's kind of how I make my paper ruffles. And if I would run this then through my sewing machine, and then if you wanted to add a little bit of lace, then you would just kind of tuck it in and do it that way. But if you wanted to do this and you're like, oh, I don't have a sewing machine, then again, you just make it, and then you can add just some little bits of glue underneath each of those folds, and then of course on top of the lace, and it will hold your project together. But then you can also just kind of make a little lace ruffle like on the side of your page like this and glue it down with glue. So I thought we could do that today. We could just decorate this front envelope in my journal with a little bit of lace. And so I do have some scraps sitting here, and I did pull out, this is a little card that, again, from My Porch Prints, and these background papers are from a Hobby Lobby paper pad called Distress Florals. But I thought we could add this on here somehow. And then I'm thinking, again, we're trying to use up little bits of lace. So I pulled this scrap out of my pile. Again, it's just an offcut of some lace. And I'm probably going to cut a little bit more of it off. So I have to find a scissors here. So I'm going to cut this just so it's kind of a little bit more of a strip like that. I just took off one of the edges. So I'm thinking I can maybe layer that underneath here to use up just as a layering piece. I also found this dangle in my stash, so I'm thinking I'm going to just cut off one of the little flowers and put that up here in the corner, but I'll do that at the end. And normally what I would do is I would take one of these ruffles that I've already made through the sewing machine, and I would stick it on the side right here. I would glue it down, and then I would call that good. But I just want to show you that you can do the same thing with just gluing it down. So I have to just decide, you know, I had this pretty pink one too that I've already done. I just have to decide which piece of lace I want to do. Just looking at my different remnants here, and I thought I had a different one picked out. Let me go see if it's still sitting by my sewing machine. Hold on a second. Ah, here it is, just sitting on my desk. I had this little piece of vintage trim that I like, and I want to use that one. So we're going to use that one, and I'm trying to think if I want to put anything else on here. You know, I have some tulle that I know it's probably not going to show up if I want to add that underneath, or if I have some cheesecloth. Or I still have... Yeah, I have a little bit of cheesecloth still sitting here, so maybe that'll end up getting glued on underneath here too, just for a little bit extra. So let's just glue this down. Or no, I have another plan here. I think I'm going to glue my eyelash trim on the back of here. So let's do that first. And again, I apologize. I'm kind of one of those crafters who I look at what's sitting on my desk and I easily change my mind. And I like lots of layers, so I'm usually constantly adding to things. Even after I've already glued it in and put it in my journal, sometimes I continue to add things even though when I think I'm done. And I don't know if you can tell when I'm gluing this down, sometimes I try and manipulate the eyelash trim or the eyelash yarn to have the majority of the eyelash parts of the yarn sticking out. And of course it's sticking to my fingers here a little bit, just so then you can see most of it on the outside. So I'm just kind of trying to manipulate it that way a little bit. So that's what it'll look like. So yeah, let's go back then to our little project here. And I'm going to put a little bit of glue down just to, and I just had some dripping off the top, so if you're wondering why I'm holding it funny, I'm just trying to use the little drip off the top. And I'm just going to just lay that here so it hangs out on the side. And again, in a previous episode we did this cute little edging for this journal card right here that comes out. So I have that, and then I still have to decide, I might put just a little bit of cheesecloth. There won't be a lot because I just have this remnant left here, but we'll just put that up towards the top just to add some interest. And I'm going to go ahead and glue this one down, and then we'll add the paper ruffle, or not the paper ruffle, but we'll add the lace ruffle on the side. And I'll just show you how to do that if you don't have a sewing machine, how you just kind of gather it up on the side. So we've added that. So now that's kind of our nice little layer. So again, normally if I had a sewing, you know, I would just add this right here as my decorative element. But I think we'll just make one with the lace off of the side here. So I'm just going to turn it this way because it's just a little easier for me to work. And I'm just going to put some glue right here on the edge of my little card. And I have this little piece of lace. I'm going to start off just by folding it just a couple of times like this. And I'm just going to stick down just that little bit. And I kind of work in stages on this. And I'm just going to ruffle it up. And then sometimes even where you folded it over, if the glue doesn't seep through on these, you might have to go in and add like another spot of glue. But I usually try and get kind of the base down first, and then I go in and I kind of perfect it. And of course, the glue is seeping through to my fingers right now, so it's kind of sticking. But let's see if we can get the rest of this one down, and then I'll just wipe off my hands. And we'll just see. If you use kind of a wet glue, you have a little bit of time like this to manipulate it. I know a lot of ladies like to use hot glue, so you could use hot glue also. You can just kind of see I'm kind of ruffling it and squishing it. And I probably have more than what I need, so I'm going to end up cutting off a little bit of it, or maybe I'll just kind of loop around the bottom. So let's just do that with what's left. So we'll just kind of smush it down. So now we have a little bit of a ruffle on the side of this card. Little embellishment. So that's kind of cute. So hopefully, I know it's like white on white, so it's kind of really tough to see, but hopefully you guys can kind of see. Right here we did that little ruffle around the side. And I maybe should have done it in pink or something like this so that you guys could have seen it a little bit better. And so that will take a little while to dry. You want to make sure that you don't put another piece of paper on top or another page until that's fully dried. And I'm just going to see, like I had said, I still had, you know, this dangle that I had pulled out. So I'm thinking I still kind of want to add some sort of embellishment on top of this. And I'm just still kind of manipulating it a little bit just so I have it kind of where I want. And maybe I'll put the dangle on the bottom. I think I'll do that. I think I like that a little bit better. So I'm just going to cut this part of the dangle off of this lace trim. And we're just going to glue that down here. And again, I'm just going to add some eyelash trim first to it. If I can get it to glue to the page and not my fingers. Like I said, it might just take a minute there. And then we'll glue that little dangle right there. And for now, I'm going to call that good. I could add some more embellishments on that, but again, that's kind of the top flip of my journal card, and it doesn't look like anything's going to impede. I probably should have checked that first, but it looks like it's going to flip over just fine, so I don't have to worry about that once it's in my journal. And again, we just did that cute little ruffle on the side right there. But again, there's all sorts of different styles of ruffles you can do. You can do just the lace, you can do the lace and the paper, or the lace and the fabric. Again, I prefer to do it on my sewing machine, but again, if you don't have a sewing machine, as you guys can see, I just created that quick little ruffle just on the side of my journal card. Thanks again, everybody, so much for watching today's episode of Little Bits of Lace, and hopefully I will see you back again for another episode. Until then, have a wonderful day and happy crafting.